Discipline is Destiny 7 Life-Changing Principles from Napoleon Hill. Success doesn't disappear overnight. It slips away, slowly, every time discipline is ignored. Think about it. We all know people with brilliant ideas, with incredible talent, with golden opportunities, yet they still fail. Not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked consistency. Discipline is the invisible force that shapes every destiny. Without it, goals collapse, habits weaken, potential is wasted. But with discipline, the impossible becomes achievable. Dreams turn into reality. Ordinary effort transforms into extraordinary results. Napoleon Hill once said, "Discipline is the foundation of greatness." And he was right. We're going to uncover 7 powerful principles of discipline. Principles that can sharpen your focus, strengthen your habits, and completely reshape your future. Are you ready? Let's begin. Principle 1. Definiteness of purpose. Every great achievement begins with one thing. Not luck, not talent, not opportunity, but a clear and definite purpose. Napoleon Hill said, "There is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose." Think about it. A person with no purpose may work hard. They may stay busy. But busy is not the same as progress. Without direction, discipline feels like a prison. But when discipline is tied to purpose, it transforms. It becomes power. It becomes freedom. It becomes unstoppable momentum. Picture a ship, strong engine, full of fuel, but no destination. It will drift endlessly, wasting energy, going nowhere. But once the destination is fixed, every ounce of fuel pushes it forward. That destination is your purpose. Let me share a story with you. A young man named David had a dream. Not a vague wish, not a fantasy, but a definite purpose. He wanted to become a lawyer, not for prestige, not for money, but because he saw injustice. He saw people with no voice, and he made a decision. "I will fight for them." On a plain sheet of paper, he wrote his goal in bold letters. "I will become a successful lawyer who defends the powerless." He pinned it above his desk, where he could see it every single day. While his classmates partied, David studied. While they wasted hours in video games, he read case studies. He practiced mock trials. He disciplined himself to live by his vision. It wasn't easy. Some nights he felt exhausted. Some days left out. But every time temptation whispered, his purpose spoke louder. Years later, when many of his friends were still figuring life out, David had already graduated with honors, passed the bar, and opened his own practice. People admired his success. They thought it was luck. They thought it was genius. But the truth, it was purpose. Clear, definite, unshakable. The lesson. Definiteness of purpose is the foundation of discipline. Without it, you scatter your energy. You start and stop. You drift. You regret. But with it, even the hardest challenges become fuel. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every sacrifice becomes progress. So I ask you today, what do you truly want? Write it down. Make it clear. Tie your discipline to that vision. Because once your purpose is definite, no fear, no fatigue, no failure can hold you back. Principle 2. Self-mastery. If purpose gives you direction, then self-mastery gives you control of the journey. Napoleon Hill said it best, "The greatest battle you will ever fight is not with the world, it's with yourself, with your laziness, with your excuses, with your impulses, with your fears." Think about it. How many people set goals, start new habits, dream of change, and quit in just a week. Not because the dream was impossible, but because they never learned to master their mind, their emotions, their daily choices. Self-mastery is the bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, even the strongest purpose collapses. The story, let me tell you, about Sarah. She was an ordinary woman with an extraordinary dream. She wanted to run a marathon, but she wasn't an athlete. She had no talent for running, and when she told people, they laughed. The first mornings were torture. Her alarm rang at 5 a.m. Her body whispered, "Stay in bed." Her legs burned, her lungs screamed, her mind begged her to quit. But Sarah made a decision. She would not be ruled by comfort. She placed her running shoes beside her bed every night. On her mirror, she wrote 4 words: discipline over feelings. Day after day, she ran, rain or shine, motivated or not. Step by painful step, her strength grew. Some mornings she cried, some days she limped, but every time she chose action over excuse. She was winning a silent battle inside. Months later, Sarah stood at the marathon finish line. The medal around her neck wasn't the real prize. The real prize was the person she became. Because she learned. The enemy was never the distance. It was never the weather. It was never the pain. The real enemy was doubt, was weakness, was laziness, and she defeated it. The lesson self-mastery isn't about perfection. It's about control. Control over your time, your habits, your emotions. Because if you don't control yourself, life will control you. So ask yourself today, are you the master of your actions or a prisoner of your impulses? Start small. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you promised. Stay calm when life tests you. Every act of self-discipline builds strength. Every small victory builds momentum, and that momentum becomes transformation in the end. The greatest power is not control over others. The greatest power is control over yourself. Principle 3. Controlled habits. Your life today is nothing more than the sum of your habits. Think about it. Every choice you make, every action you repeat, every small routine you follow is quietly shaping who you become. Napoleon Hill taught, you don't decide your future, you decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. That's why discipline isn't just about willpower in the moment. It's about creating controlled habits that carry you forward, even when motivation fades. Because motivation comes and goes, but habits stay. Story, let me tell you about John. John dreamed of becoming a writer. He had ideas, passion, and vision. But for years, he never finished a single book. Why? Because he only wrote when he felt inspired. Days passed, weeks passed, and most of the time, he wrote nothing at all. Then one day, he made a small change. He set a rule: write 1 page every morning, no matter what. At first, it felt tiny, just a page. But he kept at it. Some mornings, his mind was sharp. Other mornings, the words felt heavy, almost impossible. But he wrote anyway, and something incredible happened. Day after day, those pages stacked up. In 6 months, he had a manuscript. In a year, he had a published book. And eventually, he became the author he always dreamed of being. Not because of sudden inspiration, not because of luck, but because of controlled habits. Lesson: this is the secret. Success isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in small, repeated steps. Wake up at the time you promised. Read for 10 minutes a day. Exercise for 15. Save a little money every week. Call one person who matters. Tiny acts, but repeated with discipline. They compound into massive results. Uncontrolled habits will destroy your future. Sleeping in, scrolling endlessly, wasting time. Each seems harmless today, but over years, they steal everything. Controlled habits, on the other hand, create momentum. They free you from excuses. They move you forward automatically, even when you don't feel like it. So ask yourself, today, what habits are silently shaping your life? Are they pulling you toward your vision or dragging you away from it? Remember this, your habits are either your greatest ally or your deadliest enemy. Discipline turns habits into servants of your purpose. And once your habits are under control, your destiny is under control. Principle 4. Persistence against failure. It's the word most people fear. But Napoleon Hill reminds us, failure is never the end. It's only feedback. It's life asking you, how badly do you really want it? Every dream worth chasing will test you. You'll face rejection. You'll face setbacks. You'll face days when nothing works, when all your effort feels wasted. And this is where most people quit. Not because their dream was impossible, but because they lacked persistence. Persistence is the stubborn refusal to give up. It's standing tall when the storm hits. It's trying one more time when your mind screams, enough. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. When asked how he kept going, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is persistence. Now let me share another story. There was a man named James. He dreamed of becoming a writer, but his first book was rejected, then his second, and then his third. Publisher after publisher slammed the door in his face. He collected rejection letters like trophies, over 30 in total. Most people would have stopped, but not James. He kept writing, he kept improving, and one day, a small publisher finally said yes. That book became a bestseller. James went on to become one of the most successful authors of his generation, not because he was the most talented, but because he refused to give up when failure knocked at his door. Lesson, that is the lesson. Failure doesn't defeat you. Quitting does. Persistence turns rejection into redirection. It transforms setbacks into stepping stones. It builds character, resilience, and unshakable belief. So when you face failure, and you will, remember this: every no brings you closer to the right yes. Every setback sharpens your skill. Every fall toughens your spirit. The question is not, will you fail? The real question is, will you rise again? Because persistence is the invisible armor that protects your dreams. With it, failure becomes fuel. Without it, even the best opportunities slip away. So ask yourself today, when life says no, will you quit, or will you persist until success has no choice but to appear? Remember, the road to greatness is paved with failures, but only the persistent reach the finish line. Principle 5. The power of willpower. Willpower. It's the inner strength that keeps you moving when everything in you wants to stop. Napoleon Hill called willpower the driving force of discipline. Without it, even the best plans collapse. With it, you can push through resistance, silence, excuses, and unlock energy you didn't even know you had. Every great achievement in history is the story of willpower. It's what carries people through sleepless nights, endless trials, and painful sacrifices. And here's the truth. Talent will take you part of the way. Opportunity will open some doors, but only willpower can keep you walking when the road gets steep. Story, let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah wanted to transform her health. She was tired of feeling weak, tired and out of control. But every time she tried to diet or exercise, she gave up after a few weeks. She told herself, I just don't have the strength. Then one day, she realized something powerful. Change doesn't start with a new plan. It starts with a decision. So Sarah made a choice. No matter what, she would show up for herself every day, even when it was hard, even when she felt like quitting. At first, it was brutal. Waking up early to exercise, saying no to unhealthy cravings, pushing her body when it begged for rest. But her willpower grew like a muscle. Each small victory made the next one easier. Each act of self-control gave her confidence. Months later, Sarah wasn't just healthier. She was stronger in body and in spirit. Her transformation wasn't about a perfect diet or the best gym routine. It was about willpower, the daily decision to keep going no matter what. Lesson, and that's the lesson. Willpower isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you resist temptation, you strengthen it. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you sharpen it. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you grow it. Willpower is like fire. Left untended, it burns out. But fed with discipline, it becomes unstoppable. So how do you feed it? By taking control of small decisions. By training your mind to obey your purpose, not your feelings. By reminding yourself why you started and why you cannot stop. Napoleon Hill taught willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. So ask yourself today, do you control your will, or does your comfort control you? Because in the end, the size of your success will always match the strength of your willpower. Principle 6. Surrounding yourself with the right, show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Napoleon Hill discovered a powerful truth. The people you allow into your life shape your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. Because influence is contagious. Sit with winners, and you'll start thinking like one. Spend time with complainers, and soon you'll complain too. Your environment is either building your vision or breaking it. Story, let me tell you about Michael. Michael dreamed of starting his own business. He had ideas, passion, and skills. But his circle, they laughed at him. They said things like, why risk it? Just play it safe. Business is for lucky people, not for people like us. For years, Michael listened, and for years, he stayed stuck in the same job, living below his potential. Then one day, something shifted. He joined a local group of entrepreneurs. At first, he felt out of place. They talked about possibilities, while he was used to limits. They encouraged risk, while he was taught to fear it. But slowly, their energy started to rub off. Instead of, I can't, Michael began thinking, what if I can? Instead of doubting, he started acting. He launched his business small at first, but with consistent support and belief from this new circle, he grew it step by step. Years later, Michael looked back and realized something life-changing. It wasn't just his skills that created success, it was his environment. The people he surrounded himself with gave him courage, vision, and accountability. That's the lesson. Your environment is stronger than your will. If you spend time with negative voices, you'll absorb negativity. If you spend time with ambitious, disciplined people, their drive will become yours. So, choose carefully. Choose friends who challenge you to grow, mentors who remind you of your potential, communities that celebrate discipline, persistence, and excellence. And just as important, distance yourself from those who drain you, the gossipers, the ones who laugh at dreams instead of building them. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle, the idea that two or more minds working in harmony create a power far greater than one alone. So ask yourself today, who's speaking into your life? Who's shaping your mindset when you're not even aware of it? Because in the end, your success doesn't just depend on what you do, it depends on who you're becoming. And who you're becoming will always be influenced by the people you surround yourself with. Choose wisely. Because the right circle isn't just influence, it's fuel for your destiny. Principle 7. Daily self-discipline equals long-term freedom. Everyone wants freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom to live life on their own terms. But here's the paradox. Freedom is never free. It is bought daily through discipline. Napoleon Hill reminded us, the man who cannot discipline himself will never discipline life. Discipline feels heavy in the moment. It feels like sacrifice. But in the long run, it's not punishment. It's the highest form of freedom. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah wanted financial freedom. She dreamed of traveling, owning her own home, and never worrying about bills. But there was a problem. She loved spending. Every paycheck vanished. New clothes, dinners, things she didn't even need. And every month ended the same way. Broke, stressed, and frustrated. One day, Sarah heard a mentor say, "If you don't control your money daily, your money will control you forever." That line hit her hard, so she made a choice. Every single day, she committed to saving a small amount. It wasn't easy at first. While her friends were out spending, she stayed disciplined. She budgeted. She tracked every dollar. She sacrificed short-term comfort. Months turned into years, and slowly, discipline turned into freedom. Her savings grew into investments. Her investments grew into stability, and stability gave her what she always wanted, freedom. Looking back, Sarah realized something powerful. The daily discipline that once felt like restriction was actually the path to the life she always dreamed of. That's the lesson. Daily self-discipline equals long-term freedom. Wake up early, even when you don't feel like it. Eat clean, even when junk food calls your name. Study, practice, and improve, even when no one's watching. Save and invest, even when it's tempting to spend. Each act of discipline may feel like you're saying no today, but in reality, you're saying yes to tomorrow. Because laziness is expensive, excuses are chains, and lack of discipline steals the very freedom you crave. But discipline is investment. It multiplies over time. It builds habits that create wealth, health, strong relationships, and peace of mind. So remember this final truth. The pain of daily discipline is temporary. The reward of freedom is permanent. Your future self will thank you for the discipline you practice today. Because, in the end, discipline is not about control, it's about liberation. Daily self-discipline is the price you pay now for the freedom you will enjoy forever. So now, let's pause, take a deep breath, and look back at the journey we just walked through together. 7 timeless principles, each one a stepping stone, each one a key to unlocking the life you've been chasing. Principle 1, a definite purpose. Without a clear direction, life drifts like a ship without sails. When you know what you want, the world knows how to respond. Principle 2, mastery of self-confidence. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Principle 3, controlled habits. Tiny routines, repeated daily, silently build your future. Principle 4, persistence against failure. Every setback is not the end, it's a test. The ones who keep going are the ones who win. Principle 5, the power of willpower. That quiet inner strength that says, I will keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Principle 6, surrounding yourself with the right influence. Your environment is either lifting you up or pulling you down. Choose wisely. Principle 7, daily self-discipline equals long-term freedom. Because discipline today is the freedom you'll enjoy tomorrow. 7 principles, 7 truths, 7 tools that Napoleon Hill passed down. And now they are in your hands. But here's the truth. Knowledge alone won't change your life. Only action will. So the question is not, do you know these principles? The real question is, will you live them? Because one day, years from now, you'll look back at this season of your life, and you'll realize that every choice you made, every habit you built, every discipline you practiced, shaped the destiny you're living in. And in that moment, you'll know. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the path to the life you've been dreaming of. So let me leave you with this. Start small. Pick one principle today. Apply it, not tomorrow, not someday, but today. And then watch how momentum builds. Step by step, brick by brick, day by day. That's how freedom is created. Because success isn't magic. It's method, it's practice, it's discipline. If this inspired you, subscribe to True Lines Insight, your daily dose of timeless wisdom. Your journey doesn't end here. In fact, it's only just beginning.